Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And oh my goodness, do I want to concern myself with this watch. This example was retailed in 2001. It is the reference 25909OR, the Jules Audemars Tourbillon Chronograph, a watch that represents a bygone era of beauty in Audemars Piguet dress complications, and I'm going to show you why. This watch right here in rose gold is 43 millimeters in diameter, 13.5 millimeters thick, a relatively short 48.8 from lug to lug with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We will take a quick look at this watch, but while you feast on the case back, I'm going to remove my personal Moser, and then we will discuss exactly what this watch has to offer. First, look at that movement. Second, take note of the attention to detail. Jules Audemars and the alphanumeric freehand engraved. How often do you see that on AP watches today? Now on the wrist, you can see the watch fits my 16 centimeter circumference wrist fairly well because it's short lug to lug. So even though my wrist is small, this wears all right. So if you have a wrist, let's say 16 centimeters circumference or larger like mine, don't be afraid of the 43 millimeter case. You can also see it's flatter than you think with a sloped case flank. It actually will slide under a dress cuff. And you think it's too dressy to wear every day? I feel that in rose gold, it's a little bit sportier and more youthful than if it were a giant yellow gold watch. So especially with the black strap, this is actually pretty good to go for just about anything. Taking a look at the strap itself, obviously the watch just back from AP service has a newer strap on it. You can see calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging. We have rectangular scale alligator leather on the top, along with some triangular small and medium rectangular scales. It's an unusual cut of the beast. It's dark black, semi-gloss. There's a little bit of bolstering or stuffing to give it volume, monotone stitch. Taking a look at the profile, you can see it's sheer cut and lacquered for refinement. And then we've got this beautiful single fold deployant clasp here with the AP logo on the inside to protect against droppage, and it has a pin to fit to the buckle. So some of these older APs have screw-fixed buckles. This one doesn't, so don't worry about that. You can see the attention to detail on the buckle, including that fluting and the compound curves. Really beautiful, and that's just the buckle. Taking a closer look at the watch, you can see now that we have a combination of satin and polish, and this truly was a kinder, gentler era of watchmaking, back when hallmarks were placed laterally on lugs and cases. The lugs, however, are welded on, and you can see the work that went into welding that lug to the case, filing it by hand to create the sharp break. And it's a lovely handmade style. That's how you get those super sharp breaks. Now, you can't mass produce things if your goal is to be a 150,000 watch a year company like AP wants to be today. But back at the time, this is how things were done, and they were done beautifully. We have a little bit of polish on the lug hoods. We have lovely vintage-inspired onion-like crown shoulders for the pushers, and then the crown itself is a push-down. You have to consider this watch to have virtually no water resistance. It was rated 20 meters in its day. I suggest that amount only to moisture and occasional splashes. But the watch is in beautiful shape, and you can see that's true of the case, it's true of the dial. If you're wondering what's this little notch, that's for the case knife of the watchmaker. It's not damaged, don't worry about that. There are fingerprints, but nothing more. The guilloche pattern, you can see, absolutely beautiful. Two borders, inboard and outboard, with a sort of écaille de poisson or fish scale pattern in between. And then the cut of the sub-register, Tourbillon Chronograph. We have rose gold applique Roman numerals, including a watchmaker's 4 rose gold skeletonized leaf hands. You could see we've got the instantaneous jumping minutes display, counterweighted blackened chronograph seconds, a mirror-polished and beveled steel tourbillon bridge with a micro-beveled and mirror-polished 3-spoke tourbillon carriage, 3 Hz beat rate, free-sprung overcoil hairspring, and we have in here a 5-position chronometer style adjustment. You can see the overcoil, which means that in any physical position, the more centered mass of an overcoil versus a flat hairspring means the watch will keep more consistent time. Pardon if I called that free sprung. You can see there are a pair of curb pins in there for making fine adjustments. And the overcoil and the 5-position adjustment ensures this will be a very positionally static watch. There should not be a lot of delta from position to position. The chronograph action is superb. It's very, very crisp thanks to the column wheel, and it has a traditional lateral clutch, and if you see in action, you can't quite hear or feel what I feel, but trust me, it's competitive with the best of Longa. There's your semi-instantaneous jump to the chronograph minutes right there, and we could see that column wheel on the back now. This is caliber 2879/1, 3-day power reserve, manual wind. This really is Longa caliber 951 grade chronograph action. The feel and the sound is world class. Lateral clutch, you can see, adjusted to hot, cold, and 5 positions. 25 joules, a large movement. It's 30.5 millimeters in diameter, so even in this large case, it fills the case back well. Taking a quick look here, you can see that everything from the chronograph brake to the levers, horns, and recentering hammers, the chronograph, satinated on their tops, mirror beveled, and true mirror beveled on their steel edges. The bridges have a lovely and beautifully abrasive laid wheel striping, Côte de Genève at its best. Taking a look at the brass bridges, you can see that all of the jewel sinks feature internal beveling, and then on the edges you can see that the ungulage is truly mirrored. Take a look at that click atop the ratchet wheel designed to prevent the barrel from running backwards. Look at the complexity of the mechanism. Look at that bracket spring. Absolutely beautiful. All screw heads mirror polished, chamfered in their slots and circumference, wheels satinated, engine turning exquisitely and in 3 concentric rows on the base plate. This is the Audemars Piguet I love. I haven't given up on the idea that AP may be this again someday, but right now, if you want something this beautifully decorated, in the modern era, AP is probably not your first stop, but this is a monument on your wrist to what they were, and not too long ago. And again, a 3-day power reserve. It's got a big boy power reserve built in. You can see the case is in excellent shape. And look at the freehand engraving of Jules Audemars. The time taken to do that with a burin as opposed to a laser or some sort of an automated drill. Even for the alphanumeric, look at that E. There are some flaws, but they are exquisitely beautiful flaws. This is as good as it gets. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.